Okay, this is actually my second try at this because my son is running back and forth and asking me to open pickle jars in the middle of my video. So we're gonna try this one more time. So I hope you got to this after my last video ended abruptly because I could not figure out how to flip my screen around. So this is the one that was on the end of your packet. And so I wanted to go over it with you because I am pretty sure that you are going to have to take your air test when you get back, maybe in the December round, which is not really the best idea, I think, because you won't have been in my class for at least 6 months, closer to 8, and so it's going to be really hard. You need to do a lot of practice tests. It would be my best advice. Do as many practice tests as you can. When you get to the point where you can ask me questions in person, or you want to send me a message and say, hey, I don't understand how to do this, I'll probably shoot a video and show everyone how to do it. But you're eventually going to have to take this test, and I want you to do the best you can. Cladograms are a little bit difficult at first until you learn how to do them, but they do ask a lot of cladogram questions. So if you can do these, you have a really good chance of doing well on that test. And you don't really have to know any science to be able to figure these out. I mean, they're just kind of like little mini logic problems. So if you can look at pictures and you can look at words, then you can probably figure this out as long as you understand what the rules are. So please make sure that you understand how this works so that you can do the best job you can. I'm going to show 2 today. This one was on the last page of your packet. Some of you just drew the little bugs in and you didn't put the little traits in, so I'm not really sure what order you meant to put them in. So remember, you have both organisms and you have traits. And this has 2 parts to it. So there's technically 6 answers to this cladogram. This is another reason these are important, because those little multiple choice questions you get 2 points for. 1 answer, 2 points. For this, you would get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. You would get 12 points for this one problem. So one cladogram can get you a lot of points or lose you a lot of points. All right, so the first thing we want to do is place an organism in each one of these blank boxes, and they just kind of drag over and they drop in, drop them back out to show how it's related. Obviously, this is kind of like a clade, so these 2 should be the most related. A little bit less related, least related. And then we want to place these trait labels on the cladogram to show when the traits appeared. Place the trait labels on or near the blue dots. Please make sure you read the directions. So all you have to do is drag it. If you get near a dot, it'll just pop there. So pretty easy. Okay, and I'm going to take this away. Boop. All right, so when you're doing this, the easiest way to think about it is to go from the least complicated to the most complicated. Some of you put this little guy on here, and the only difference between this guy and this guy is that he has 6 legs instead of 4 legs. But there's not an option on your traits for adding another set of legs. So there was really no way to put him on there accurately. So I'm taking him back off. Boom. All right, so considering this guy's basically out, let's look at the other 3. So I have this guy, and he's a little different. When I look at him, he has a head, right? When I look at him compared to this guy, he has a head and a body, and this guy just has a body. So that on here would be segments. Segments on animals are like segments on lines. It means a piece of a line. So segments means a piece of a body. So he has 2 pieces of his body instead of 1 piece of his body. So I'm going to put him here. But notice this guy also has segments, and this guy also has segments. And this guy has segments plus antenna, and this guy has segments plus antenna plus wings. Okay, so we're going to put this guy in, and then I find my trait segments. Where I put this is really important. Obviously not here because he doesn't have segments. I can put it here, and right now that's correct because he has segments and he doesn't. But once I put the next most complex guy on here, now this is wrong because this means that this one has segments and that one does not, because this only goes to that guy. Oh, yes, I'm here. All right, so if I bring it down to here, now that means that this one and this one have segments, but he doesn't. So I'm going to bring it down to this dot. So now once I place this trait of segments here, that means that everything else that goes off of this line is going to have segments, which is good because that's what we want. All right, now this guy, we added antenna. So we're going to grab that word. We're going to put it here. And the reason is because the other one that we're going to place here also has antenna on him. So we need to make sure that this trait goes to both of these. All right, so if I put him here, then I have one more trait to add, wings. Obviously it goes here. So this is probably the best answer and probably the most common correct answer that you could have to this. So I have this guy who's plain and normal. I add segments, and I get this guy. I add segments and antenna. I get this guy, and then segments, antenna, and wings goes to this guy. Technically, there's another way you could solve this and be right. So if I pull him off, boom, come off, and I move him over, and move him over. If I were to move this here, technically that's a correct answer because segments goes to everybody, antenna goes to both of these, and then wings goes to only this one. So technically that's correct. But when you're doing these, the best way to do them is to go from least complex to most complex, so least to most. So this would be what I would consider the best answer for that. Okay, so hopefully they haven't logged me out of this other one. Oh, they have. That's okay. I can get back in. So this is really easy. You just go to, I just Google Ohio Air, and it will say, oh, Ohio Air state test. Doesn't matter what grade. You can pick like 5th grade. Well, I guess you can't pick 5th grade. Pick one of the high school grades. Doesn't matter. Oh, goodness. What year was this? I think it was 17. No, that was 17. What was this one? 19. There's a bunch of them now. Every year they will release more. Just skip this. Continue. Begin. Anybody can take any of these tests as many times as you want. The only problem is they don't tell you if you got it right or not. I don't think. All right, so this is one that they saw last year. I have not seen this before because they just released it like a few months ago. So in this one, again, your organisms are on the top, but instead of giving you pictures, they gave you letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or E, F, okay? C, notice C doesn't have any checks over here in this box. So that means C doesn't have any of the traits, okay? And so when you look at the bottom, here are the traits. Backbone, another trait. Amniotic egg, which just means an egg with a yolk. Hair, and then another trait here. And these are our organisms up top. C doesn't have any of the any of the traits. So that means C is before the first trait. That means if backbone is here, everything from here on out has to have a backbone. Okay, so I don't know what's the easiest way to do it is to get the traits in first or get the organisms first. I think this second organism is probably the easiest next step to do. You can work this several different ways. I'm just going to try to slowly show you the way I would work it, because this one only has one trait, backbone, because they branch off before this next unknown trait develops. So we are looking for an organism on this thing that only has backbone. So we look, let's get 4 traits, 2 traits, 4 traits, 4 traits. All right, F. F only has backbone, so that means this guy has to be F. And you can only use an organism once, so don't try to like double them up. Okay, so that's F. That one's pretty easy. Now, after backbone, there's another one that comes before this trait. This organism. So there's a second organism here that has, okay, and this word goes with that dash. So there's a second organism that has a backbone and one other thing. So we need to look for something with 2 traits, a backbone and something else that's not that or that. All right, so we already used F, we already used C. So B has a backbone and 4 limbs. So that actually gives you 2 answers, right? If you know that B has a backbone and 4 limbs, you just found out that B goes here and 4 limbs goes there. So that's like 2 answers. right? And this is one of those multiple answers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 points right here on this cladogram. If you can do this, 14 points. All right, now we've got two that have backbone, forelimbs, amniotic egg, and hair. There is no way to tell a difference between these two. So you can put these two in any order that you want. So we're looking for backbone, forelimbs, amniotic egg, hair. All right, amniotic egg, backbones, forelimbs, hair. So one of them is A. Okay, and then I'm looking for another one that's amniotic egg, backbones, forelimbs, and hair. Where are you? All right, E. Amniotic egg, backbone, forelimbs, and hair. So E goes here. Okay, it doesn't matter. You can swap these two. Same answer. That's why it will say down at the bottom, like there may be more than one correct answer because you can swap those two. You cannot move F, B, forelimbs, or this other trait, or this one. But these two you could switch. All right, well that makes it pretty easy because now obviously that goes there, and obviously that goes there. So this is a pretty easy question. Let's just double check. D should have 4 traits. It should have, notice it doesn't have hair because hair only goes to A and E. D has eggs with shells, amniotic egg, forelimbs, and backbone. So let's check. Amniotic egg, backbone, eggs with shells, forelimbs. Okay, so this answer is correct. The only other correct answer would be, ooh, wow, it really loves that, is to switch these two. Still correct. Same exact answers. Correct. So this is the way to work that. I'm just going to kind of check through because this is new for me and see if there's any other. Oh, look, gel electrophoresis. I'm sure you guys love that one. If there's another one that has a cladogram on it. Sometimes they give you 2. Oh, they love to ask about tufted ear squirrels. Oh, I looked over this one. I really don't like it because it says includes an ancestor and all of its descendants, and I know which answer they want you to choose. They want you to choose A because M is the widest out, and then N and O would be included because, well, N, O, and P would be just as equally valid, and O, P, R, obviously they're in different clades, and N, P, R, S are in different clades. I don't really like this question because M is not an ancestor of N, and N is not an ancestor of O. This organism here is an ancestor of N and O, but bad question. All right, ooh, we did that one. And there's no more. So those are just a couple. There are some others, so maybe later I'll show you how to work some of the other ones that are just a little bit trickier, especially that one with the, what was it, like chameleons or lizards that you had? So we'll work through that one. Ooh, I know one I do want to show you really quickly. How much time do I have? Ooh, this is a long video. All right. I think. Maybe. Right. Ooh, we'll do that later. All right, so I'm going to stop. It was the one that you did on your edge elastic where you had the green frogs and the brown frogs, and you had to move the little green dot and the brown dot to show allelic frequency. But we'll do that at a different time. So hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're staying safe, even though it's kind of rainy and cold. It's a good day to work on cladograms. Let me know if you have any questions on your packet. Most of it is just reading comprehension. And I hope to see you guys soon.